Good afternoon, Bitcoiners. Welcome back to BitcoinCenter live stream number 36 with special guest host, Michelle.
Great to be here with you, Cedric.
Yeah. It's kind of whole Florida week here. We're both in Florida now. We're going down to Bitcoin Day in Naples this weekend, January 17th, at the Four Seasons, at the new Four Seasons on the beach.
It's going to be fabulous.
That sounds epic. This is all brought to you by Byte Federal. Check out Byte Federal's Bitcoin ATMs, point of sale, and Bitcoin wallet. Take self-custody and go bank yourself. Let's roll into the Bitcoin Matrix 2025 recap.
Let's see it.
I don't think the world is ready for $1 million Bitcoin.
If there's a strategic Bitcoin reserve, we're going to see the price of Bitcoin go up, and there could be a game theory phenomenon.
The real irony and the laugh is going to be when MicroStrategy buys Microsoft.
Oh my God.
Bitcoin will most likely absorb the monetary premium that sits in real estate over time, and real estate will collapse to its utility value.
Bitcoin is truth because it is the best mirror that we've ever created as an investment class.
The next big downturn will reveal Bitcoin's durability.
Bitcoin's gravity is that the bigger it gets, the bigger it gets.
It is what prevents it from happening again.
We're Trojan horsing the state. We're Trojan horsing Wall Street.
This is not going to be one financially. This is going to be one physically.
Bitcoin is on discount right now.
Buy as much Bitcoin as you can and hold on for it for as long as possible.
If you're an institution, if you're a fiduciary, you're not digging into Bitcoin, you're not learning about it. You are violating your fiduciary duty at this point.
I don't know how optimistic I would be about the world if it weren't for Bitcoin.
You can send $1 million from here to France in half of a second with zero fees.
This thing's going to take over the world, or it's going to get shut down.
It's going to have a far bigger impact on society than the internet, far bigger impact than AI.
Bitcoin is going to be the capital of the world.
Bitcoin can become the new global reserve currency.
We just need a catalyst sufficiently large enough to charge up the masses to make massive shift.
I really do think it will be before Bitcoin and after Bitcoin. I think it's that big a revolution.
If Bitcoin is just this treasury asset that makes rich people richer, then we have failed.
What I found was a 50-year PSYOP by the federal government.
Bitcoin is the new unit of account.
I do have the Bitcoin maxi mindset of everything that I put money in is effectively selling Bitcoin.
You can pick any date in the history of Bitcoin, add on 4 years, and it's worth more.
I do not have a business if Bitcoin doesn't survive.
If you want to take over the system, you have to slowly get into the system and start to permeate it in every single aspect.
Just as money has been manipulated, so has the law.
To think of inventing something, not cashing in on purpose, clearly there was no profit motive here.
Your money in the bank, first of all, it's not your money. Second, it's not on the bank. Third, it's not money.
$1 million a coin by 2028. I mean, this is going to happen. It's inevitable.
You're going to die anyway, so you might as well live free.
When you know that your savings will grow in purchasing power over time, everything looks better.
Anyone who thinks holding was easy is just so delusional.
Fiat inflation is probably 10, 12% a year, right? That's how much people are actually getting wrecked if they don't buy Bitcoin.
Bitcoin will absolutely demonetize residential real estate as an asset class.
Bitcoin isn't volatile. Humans are volatile.
The problem I've got with Bitcoin is that it's so attractive of an asset that there's nothing you really want to use it as collateral for.
Blind trust in developers is a huge risk because developers are fallible.
Nobody cares what the unemployment rate is if they can't get a call back for a job they are highly qualified for.
I own a house in Malibu, $40 million. It's a complete waste of money. It's still stupid. I'd rather have $40 million of Bitcoin.
The United States government gets to issue $100 bills that cost them 7 cents to produce. They're not going to let anyone mess with that business.
Are we going to stand up like men and say we want to live free, or are we going to argue amongst ourselves about the placements of commas versus semicolons.
I adopted this better money. I cannot be taken advantage of.
Just keep verifying, not trusting, and level up your game. We want our Bitcoin to continue to be worth something.
This is the first thing that's ever been invented by mankind in 12,000 years that is valuable and can't be stolen.
The Bitcoin network doesn't care if you're a billionaire or you have 2 Satoshis to your name. Bitcoin levels the playing field.
Anyone who tells you they know what price it ought to be is out of their mind.
The final price explosion of Bitcoin will be hyperinflation of all fiat.
What a terrible tragedy it would be if your Bitcoin died with you.
If even one more person decides to start saving in Bitcoin to change their life by learning about Bitcoin, my show will have been a success.
Nothing is going to stop Bitcoin. As people go deeper into that, they're never going back.
While I'm gone, I truly hope that the ethos of Bitcoin as freedom money doesn't go away. I hope that the ethos as Bitcoin as a censorship-resistant form of cash doesn't go away, and people still fight for that vision.
This is BitcoinCenter. My name is Cedric Youngelman.
I'm Michelle Weekly.
And we got a lot to get into. It's crazy news week, and I'd love to hear what you think of that. But let's first roll the introduction to the show and bring out our special guest, John, here from Bitcoin Day.
Let's be real, right? Praising Telegram for launching a Bitcoin wallet. I've always felt like Bukele.
Bitcoin, this digital currency that's out there that people say, oh, it might be the next big thing. What do you think?
I think it's rat poison.
Bitcoins. You never heard of them a few weeks ago. Now everybody's talking about them. But is it a currency?
I don't know. Or is it more like a stock? Or is it a tulip bulb? We're going to debate that.
Stupid.
To me, it smells like Ponzi scheme and the greater fool theory, right?
You do like 5 minutes of freaking research.
Well, guys, thanks for coming to my set talk.
Yes.
Don't buy shitcoins. Oh, man, I always get that wrong. All right. Bitcoin's recent rally. Do you agree? Is crypto finally dead? Go to the next one.
Matter of fact, they're kind of in the Ethernet. What are they?
There's some rumors that it's this Japanese guy, but others say no, that he's a fake name. It was a pseudonym. I mean, you're literally putting real money onto a system that we don't even know who created it.
It will come to a bad ending.
Is this the most exciting bull run ever?
Not for me. No, it's not.
Welcome to BitcoinCenter, the fast-paced show where the debate is the story.
John Drew, the man behind Bitcoin Day, going into the 4th year in Naples. How excited are you?
I'm very excited. Yeah, totally looking forward to it. We upped the game quite a bit and made a big upgrade for our location, our venue. We're at the Four Seasons. It's brand new, just opened a couple of months ago, and right on the beach. It's going to be a really fantastic event. Not to mention all of the speakers that we have. It's going to be such a good event. I'm super excited.
The lineup is incredible. Natalie Brunell, Lawrence Lepard, Gary Cardone, Dr. Sean Baker, Nico Moran, Bob Burnett, Luke Dasher, CJ Constantinos, Michelle, myself, Danny Condone, Jason Leibowitz. I mean, it goes on and on here. Craig Shapiro, Bo Turner, Bobby Iacchino, Madison Hanson, Paul Tarantino. The list goes on. It seems epic in terms of the speakers. Maybe describe what else is the atmosphere like at Bitcoin Day Naples besides just sort of the great panels.
Well, so the whole idea behind Bitcoin Day is to create connections. So there's lots of networking opportunities. If you come early, there'll be coffee and some light breakfast that you can hang out with everybody else that came early and get to know a bunch of people. We also ask the speakers to stay in the room and sit at the tables with everybody so that there's no green room or no special whale place where the speakers can hide. They all are encouraged to stay at the event all day and mix and mingle with everybody that's there. So that's really the biggest part of the difference in Bitcoin Day Naples is you get to interact with those speakers, not just listen to them on stage as they're proselytizing. So that's the fun part, and lunch is included in the event, so you'll have a great lunch. This space is an indoor-outdoor space, so lunch will be served outdoors, and we're expecting beautiful weather, like in the low 70s on that day in Naples. It's just going to be a beautiful event, and then on top of that, we have quite a few sponsors who are going to have exhibits at the event, so there'll be tables to go around and visit. Lots of activity in the exhibitor room. Larry and Natalie will both be signing books at the event in the exhibitor hall. So lots of cool different things going on there.
I'm excited. Bitcoin Day was the first event I attended. I don't know how many years ago now it was, but it was the first event I attended after I doxed myself on Twitter. And I was still trying to figure out, like, how honest am I going to be here? And it was at the event. I spoke to a couple people and they were like, just go full tilt. And as most of you know, I have. So
it was the first event I went to after I moved to Florida. And I've been now 3 years in a row, but this is where I've probably built the most friendships and relationships and networking, not just in Florida, but in the whole Bitcoin scene. Some of the deepest networks that I've made, connections.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have so many great Bitcoiners in the South Florida area. I mean, most of the people that you just listed on the speaker agenda are from South Florida. So most of them are just driving in for an hour or less from their homes and coming to spend the day with us. And that is that's one of the reasons why we get such a great lineup of speakers, is because we have so many great Bitcoiners here in South Florida.
I mean, I think it's a national, or should be a national event, just because of also the location and the weather and the time of year. It's, if you're going to go to a weekend event for Bitcoin, and you're not in Florida, why wouldn't you go to this one out of all the events?
Florida really is the Bitcoin state.
I think it's the best state to be a Bitcoiner.
Absolutely.
For sure. That's one of the reasons we upgraded. So our vision was, so in the past, we've done Bitcoin days around all over the country. When it first started, it moved around the whole country, all the way from the West Coast to the East Coast. And then, during the bear market in 2022, things kind of fizzled a little bit. And I hosted our first Bitcoin Day Naples in January of 2023. And it's evolved over the next couple of years. And this year we decided, you know what, we've done the thing where we've moved around from city to city. There's difficulties involved in all of that, and we decided we really want to make this a destination event, because here we are in probably one of the most beautiful cities in the whole world, and we have all this wonderful beach and recreation opportunities and beautiful facilities, and we decided that it's time to upgrade, bring it to one of the highest class facilities in the city, and actually probably one of the highest class facilities in the world, and make it a destination event. Attract people from around the world to come to Bitcoin Day Naples every January and enjoy the Florida sunshine in January when it's cold everywhere else.
And what about the dinner on Friday night? Can you describe it?
Oh man, the dinner on Friday night is going to be epic.
Are there still tickets?
There are still tickets left for the dinner. Yes, those are a little more scarce than the tickets for the event, but there are tickets available for both still. And the dinner is we're gonna have a fireside chat with Dr. Sean Baker, and it's a carnivore dinner. So it's being hosted at a luxury home, private residence in Naples, and we bought a half a cow from a local ranch. So we're gonna, the cow has been dried and aged and butchered. Actually, that's being picked up today, and then we have a Native American chef who's going to cook all the meat. So it's going to be, head to toe. We're going to serve beef heart and liver pate and of course steaks, and it's going to be a fantastic. We even have some elk meat that the chef picked up and is going to cook elk meat as well. So
what a great way to start the year.
Yeah, super cool.
I feel like human nature is a little weird. Everyone was sort of really bummed out, I think, on Bitcoin at the end of last year. And you kind of get that calendar turns over and it's sort of not a real thing, but
it's a new year.
It's a new year. And if you think about how excited we were going into 2025 at around this price.
Right. I mean, could you imagine a few years ago telling anybody, oh, we think it's lame that Bitcoin's in the low 90s? Let's get excited again.
And the foundation seems 10 times stronger and more exciting a year later. So what a way to kick off the year and get together with other Bitcoiners. And this is where I kind of find a lot of signal, and I find future guests on the Bitcoin Matrix and for BitcoinCenter. And like I was saying before, just get to really tremendous access to the other, not just Bitcoin speakers, but other people in the other people just viewing and listening and being a part of it. Whether it's just getting a coffee together in the hallways or going outside and getting some fresh breath air of this beautiful weather. So I do want to roll a clip because I know we're going to have some panels on Bitcoin treasury companies, and Saylor is sort of trending right now. So we have a couple of clips that we'll just play and talk to you about.
Okay.
But like even fundamentally, those are very bullish things. I totally agree. But the price is lower today than it was this time last year. And like, I don't know if this is almost a self-fulfilling prophecy over sort of people thinking a 4-year cycle is a real thing and therefore there's selling of Bitcoin. I think the 4-year cycle is dead. What do you think is going to happen in 2026?
Look, I think that trying to guess where the market goes over a 100-day time frame is a fool's errand.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally just said 95 days ago, we were at an all-time high and you're complaining about Bitcoin price action. Like, we have the attention, of sixth graders, not even sixth graders.
It's not complaining, it's
Name
more
one
I'm surprised.
thing in your life you accomplished in less than 100 days. Like you can't, you're supposed to you can't have a baby in less than 100 days. You can't get a college degree in less than 100 days. How many companies were started and declared successful in less than 100 days? Was what Bitcoin did made successful in 94 days,
Absolutely
right?
not.
I mean, if you actually did a test on every single human endeavor for the last 100,000 years, and you said, well, I'm going to cancel them all if they weren't successful on the 93rd day. First of all, nothing and none of us would be here, right? So I think it's a mistake to fixate on short frequency events. The whole message of Bitcoin is you're supposed to have a low time preference. So
do you think Bitcoiners are sort of missing the forest for the trees here, the way we look and scrutinize at Bitcoin treasury companies and gripe and complain about maybe their lack of progress, and not look at sort of companies that aren't stacking? We can maybe say, oh, we wish companies that were making money stack sats, and that's what it should be about. But we then are we taking down our own for no reason?
Yes. It's ruthless. What do you think, John?
Well, I think that anybody that's buying Bitcoin is smart. I think that, I'm running my own personal company. It's a very small company, and I buy Bitcoin for my company. And if anybody that has savings, any company, any individual, any organization that has a savings account, I think they should be buying Bitcoin. And that just is what the whole point is, to use it and view it as a savings technology. So that's, I don't think we should be scrutinizing. I think if people have figured out ways to game the system and can use it to their advantage to accumulate Bitcoin, then more power to them. You know, I wish I could figure out more ways to accumulate Bitcoin.
I think the idea of a toxic maxi, it has its value, right? But I think there's maybe been this overcorrection of, you know, we reject crypto and all the scams and all of that. I think there's been a pull in the opposite direction where like nothing is pure enough, nothing is good enough, nothing is like, we're just eating our own, missing the forest through the trees, you know, like anybody in Bitcoin, that's good. That's a win. Any company buying Bitcoin, that's good. That's a win. I don't know. Like, I'm not normally the optimistic one, but I feel like that is something I am optimistic about. Like, let's.
I think there's room to have to have both conversations and for nuance. I just think that there is a tendency for us as a space on Twitter or X to harp on, you know, the 80% that doesn't mean as much as the 20%.
Yeah.
Or is not as important maybe. I agree with a lot of what John's saying. I want to see companies buy Bitcoin. I would prefer if companies that are making positive cash flow were stacking sats with their profits. But I don't think it's a bad thing that companies are trying to, or fledgling companies are doing other things like borrowing. But then I don't want to see people who want to buy Bitcoin lend their money to Bitcoin treasury companies. I want to see trapped capital flow into Bitcoin treasury companies.
Yeah. I agree.
And so right now, though, I think 2025 was more about Bitcoin retail capital excited about this idea more than actually institutions coming to buy these securities. But I still think the future is institutional money that's trapped. I think that's more money than retail could ever bring. And I think that's the long-term success of these companies. But I don't know. I think there's so much more. We're going to talk about this as one of the panels I'm on Saturday. So it's going to, and I'm on 2 panels. I don't know how many you're on.
You've got the serious panel, Cedric, and you're missing. My panel is about pattern recognition.
That's fun.
It's going to be so much fun. Cedric is going to cover like the real macro.
So we're doing Bitcoin in the real world with Lawrence Lepard and Natalie Brunel. I'm doing that panel, and Bobby Iacchino is moderating that panel. And I believe he's a bit of a skeptic, is what I've heard. So that's fun. That's the dynamic. And then we have I'm on another panel with some people in the Bitcoin treasury space, or affiliated, or, you know, sort of macro, and
right.
You know, Mark Hinley and the name's escaping me right now.
Well, we just got word today that
Ben Workman's now joining the panel, which is a lot of fun.
Ben Workman. Mm-hmm.
So
I've got Paul Tarantino, of course, Carly Benson, and Chris Sullivan, and I'm actually going to be moderating that panel. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so it's going to be epic. I'm excited for it. I know you have we have to let you go, and we have a bunch of other topics we're going to cover. So let people know where they can buy tickets.
Yeah, just go to bitcoinday.io, click the Get Tickets button.
Awesome.
All the carnivore dinner tickets and the Bitcoin Day tickets are available there.
Yep, and we'll get into it on Saturday. I hope to see you guys there.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
But I hope to see some listeners there.
Yeah, come join us. Yes, thank you very much for having me on, guys.
Awesome. See you soon, John.
See you this
Saturday.
weekend.
See you Friday.
Bye.
All right, let's get into the show.
Here we go.
So I think first up we have Powell.
Yes. So Powell, there's drama here, right? I thought that video was AI.
Well, I think we're going to, well, the times we're in are strange.
Yes.
So maybe we can run that clip.
Good evening. On Friday, the Department of Justice served the Federal Reserve with grand jury subpoenas, threatening a criminal indictment related to my testimony before the Senate Banking Committee last June. That testimony concerned in part a multi-year project to renovate historic Federal Reserve office buildings. I have deep respect for the rule of law and for accountability in our democracy. No one, certainly not the chair of the Federal Reserve, is above the law. But this unprecedented action should be seen in the broader context of the administration's threats and ongoing pressure. This new threat is not about my testimony last June or about the renovation of the Federal Reserve buildings. It is not about Congress's oversight role. The Fed, through testimony and other public disclosures, made every effort to keep Congress informed about the renovation project. Those are pretexts. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment. Public service sometimes requires standing firm in the face of threats. I will continue to do the job the Senate confirmed me to do, with integrity and a commitment to serving the American people. Thank you.
I'm blown away.
I thought it was AI at first. I was looking for a tweet I just saw on my way over here, and I think there's a key word in there, threatening. So the news is circulating as if he has been served with a subpoena, and that's not true.
Right. But he never really spoke to that he's innocent.
Of course he's not.
And he went right to that they're threatening me, not because and not that I didn't do these things, but that might be true, but the real reason they're threatening me is over this other stuff. And the fact that he's done this for 4 administrations is not, to me, doesn't make him apolitical. It makes him actually extremely political. And it sounds like he's been serving each administration.
Yes.
But I thought, I'm trying to follow this objectively, and I'm trying to determine whether it's like kayfabe, like fake fighting. I
hadn't thought about that.
I really believe somewhere that they're working together.
Right.
They might have different maybe agendas, but that they're trying to work somehow hand in hand.
So there's like a backroom deal. Hey, we'll let you put up a fuss as long as you really actually do what we want you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say that. It's obviously not out of the question. That's really how a lot of this functions. But I don't know. I think there might also be tension rising because Powell's not a Trump fan and Trump is not a Powell fan. So
why I don't know, like, why would someone like Powell stick in this if he's truly fighting against, like, what is his true, like, does he really believe in the natural law of the principle of like limit unemployment and like what is his hill to die on?
Motivation?
Why would you do or deal with this on a personal level?
Right.
I mean, you could say maybe the rewards, but he has probably enough financial wealth already.
I would say there's
to walk away. What would be his sort of?
So here's the thing: in DC, it's not money that is power; it's power that is power and influence.
Speaking in a weird way, like a very political,
correct,
and assuming a lot of power and taking on the president.
And he's getting ready to leave. Right?
Yeah, he's out no matter what, basically, unless the guy he's fighting with would to reappoint him. So I think what's his?
I think there may be backroom deals, but they are not between Powell and Trump. I think they're between whoever it is that Powell seeks to.
Maybe they're
emissaries,
though. Maybe, but I think their teams are communicating.
Probably.
I mean, they were together walking the halls of the Fed like this summer, weren't they?
But that was the hard hat thing?
Yeah, like weren't they like chummy?
I don't know that I would have called that chummy.
But they were in the same room together. They were kind of like, if they truly hated, okay, so why would Powell agree to something like that? Or does he not have a choice? Like what?
Agree to what? To make this statement?
That prior moment where they walk and they...
Right. I don't know what that was about. I'd have to rewatch.
Why would you meet with someone on camera who's then going to threaten you with...
Well, that was kind of the beginning, though, wasn't it? Like, Trump had not threatened him, really. That was as things heated up. But I think what's interesting here is that they're framing the statement, the tweet that they put, the way that he speaks. Like, at first pass, I thought it was AI. Then I thought that the DOJ had subpoenaed them.
Do you think that this is about old banking infrastructure and interests? I mean, is Powell really like, I am about the old banks and the old system and the old rails, and that it's entrenched power, and Trump is truly about, and there's no, and the deep state is just sitting back and they're not picking sides. And
Oh
they're
no,
not,
the deep state is not sitting back. They're on old power side. No doubt about that.
Okay. And then so how is Trump getting away with all this then? I mean, like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, there's got to be a triangulation where someone's taking on real power and living through it.
Well, I think it's a real struggle of who does have the real power, right? Because the deep state has had the power backed by the banking system for a very, very long time. And if you believe that Trump is trying to take that on, then that is this like growing power struggle. Who's gonna win?
Well, I think the deep state wants stable coins and infrastructure along those lines for financial surveillance. And so I think Trump's doing everything the deep state would ever want.
You think Trump is just like for show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a chaos figure in the whole world's a stage.
Right.
And that's his job, is to create chaos.
Yeah.
And I think they need more politicians to create more and more chaos as the money breaks more and more.
I don't disagree with that at all. There's not a lot of things that...
Like, I don't think Trump wakes up and he's like, I think we should take Venezuela.
Oh, that's a whole nother...
Right. I don't think I don't think any of these decisions are his on his own.
Right.
Maybe he gets to say, we're going to do that flavor of an attack versus that flavor. And I don't even think that's nothing. Because
it's all
he's not a real
organized
general. He's not the general.
Right.
He's not actually like, this is the plan that's better than that plan.
Right.
And they're the ones presenting all the options and saying what you need to do.
I think that he
and then we'll let you grift on the side, like every other politician on both parties.
Oh, this is so...
And we need to wreck the country every 4 years socially. So we get like Trump. The Trump regime has brought on more technocracy than would ever been allowed by the Harris.
No,
regime.
that I don't agree with that at all.
I don't think so. I think the right would have fought back. The same way like Trump was able to get through sort of all the COVID measures of lockdowns and rush out of that they would not have that the right would not have.
If it was the left doing it, there'd be more
only
fighting.
Only 30% of the country votes, and only like 10% of those people care, and only 5% of those people have guns, and they're all on one team.
Yeah.
So there's certain things you could do with left politicians to annoy the right and get things in over here, like programs, entitlements, and then on the right, so you get all the people riled up, and then you said then they take the power back, quote unquote, through the fake vote, and they say, "Hey, we're not going to fix all the things you screwed up when you were in power," but they end up making it worse. And then the other team says, "Look, you guys made it worse. You said you were going to do this, and you did that. We want power back," and it gets everyone to say, "Hey, we can fix the whole country when I vote in 4 years." So nothing actually happens. And then all this is about cultural stuff or distractions from money printing, which you look at someone like Powell. He's lasted 4 administrations.
Right.
And they all agree on, and I don't think all of a sudden Trump's the first one to be like, I have decided, like, I don't think Nixon took us off the gold standard.
Who do you think took us off
the people behind Nixon?
Yeah. Well, I agree with that.
The people who could put Ford in when they were done with Nixon.
But I do think
without
an
election.
I do think that Trump wants to dismantle a lot of this. Like, there's a lot of stuff. Like, Trump's entire family was debanked.
I think
they raided his house.
Sure.
You know, like, you can't even imagine the threats up against this family. And do I agree that they're all coordinating behind doors? No doubt about it. But I do think I have a little bit of hope that, like, they are trying to...
I have none of that.
You have none
of that.
All right, guys. My hope is gone.
I just don't. I don't think, like, a gang could go and say, we're going to liberate these people.
Right.
And you could say those people need to be liberated, but it doesn't mean that even if they intend to liberate, it's really hard to effectively deliver a liberation campaign. And so even if your intentions are good, have you ever seen a government go somewhere and actually truly rebuild a place?
No, obviously not.
You could maybe point to Japan, but we sort of installed a central bank there and pillaged that economy in different ways.
Yeah.
And so, like, and same thing with Germany. So it's not altruistic. And even if it was, we wouldn't be able to actually achieve altruistic goals. So I just don't, I mean, look at this Venezuela. Do we have Venezuela on the list? Like, do you believe that we went in and the 20 soldiers were like Iron Man?
No.
And that there was one Venezuelan soldier who witnessed this and talked to other and his TikTok got out.
That's a show.
Oh, here was another one.
That's a show.
Like, or take Nick Shirley.
Yes. Yeah. What do you think about Nick Shirley? You think he's a plant?
I think it's a plant.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really, not only when anything goes that viral, I think it's aided and abetted.
Yeah.
And that's when they want that issue to pop off.
I agree
divide.
with that completely.
And I think it's really hard to achieve for real. And I'm not, maybe he's real, but for any journalist who's been doing this for 20 years,
right?
Altruistically, it's hard for them to get that kind of traction.
Yeah.
Then I saw a clip the other day that really stuck out to me. So it was on September 10th,
Charlie,
the day Charlie was
Kirk
assassinated.
show.
That morning, Nick Shirley was on Charlie Kirk's show. Not with Charlie, because Charlie's traveling. And he normally does the morning show and then does his afternoon local appearance. But for some odd reason, they didn't want him to actually speak to Nick.
I saw that.
But Nick was on the show, which is the reason he didn't go to Utah.
We're living in the Matrix.
I mean, it's just, yeah. So, all right.
Yeah, all right. All right.
We got another
You've got
clip
me
here.
black-pilled.
Let's go to BlackRock. There we go.
It's only been when's its anniversary? In a couple of days, 2 years since IBIT originally launched, and we've seen it raise tens of billions of dollars. But still, many investors have still just been starting their educational journey around what is Bitcoin, how might it fit in a portfolio. For many financial advisors, maybe they didn't have access to crypto before, or even weren't able to buy IBIT until it was approved on their platforms. We're starting to see a much more broader group of people that can and are interested in investing in this asset class. So we see this still being very early days for Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's a lot more about education, a lot more about how does this fit in a portfolio, how might it behave in different market environments, and how could it sit alongside.
Well, if you're enjoying the show, please hit like and subscribe. This is BitcoinCenter, brought to you by Byte Federal. Go bank yourself. This clip is interesting, and I'd love to hear your take on it. But I think the bigger BlackRock news is that's who Trump's looking at for the new Federal Reserve chair, the CIO.
Oh, I hate it. I don't think I even knew that.
Yeah. So, well, what do you think of this clip then?
So I think if you're a libertarian, you are late to Bitcoin. But if you are anybody else, if you are just trying to not get poor, if you're trying to get rich, or you're an institution, then yes, you are still early. I think the price at some point, whether it's soon or later or even later, it's going to go parabolic, and we'll look back and say, oh yeah, of course we were early. Oh, we bought under 100. Ha ha.
What do you think is Trump's goal here with Powell and the Federal Reserve? Is it just to lower rates? I think it's to destroy the Federal Reserve. I honestly believe.
Now, see, that's optimistic.
No, but I don't think. Okay, so I think there are pros and cons to destroying the Federal Reserve, though. Even if you hate the Federal Reserve, it doesn't mean that you replace it with something better. It could be replaced with something worse.
Yeah,
I think that they're going to replace it with an AI-run CBDC,
surveillance state.
That is they put the parameters into the AI, and they say you issue money upon this cadence, and that you surveil based on these parameters. But there's still some people who have access or control to that mechanism and what's happening in that black box. And I think that could be way worse than what we have now. It's sort of like the way the Epstein surveillance model has moved to X and cameras and Nest and everything Amazon rolls out and the robots. And they don't need people anymore with like a handheld.
So this is related. So Tether just froze $182 million in wallets that were hosted in Venezuela. I don't think we have this on there, but you just made me think of it, because this is kind of the future that you're speaking of is kind of playing out right now.
The same way I think if they get rid of federal income tax, I don't think that results in lower taxes for Americans. I think taxes will appear in different ways.
Sure.
They will be replaced and shifted.
Right.
But I do think that there could be, and I think it's a change of power.
Right.
And
I agree.
A further centralization of power, potentially. I don't think they're doing it to liberate American citizens.
Right. Well, it becomes more dangerous because it's more centralized, right? Like if you can control the whole thing on one computer or with one master account, And I don't mean, in this giant building of marble in DC. I mean, literally just one login on one device.
Why do you think they are building a multi-billion-dollar building in DC though?
To mock us.
So, okay, do you think Powell then is the leader of that mocking? Like he was like, we should build a building, or someone like, we should build a building and it costs this much. And now you got to go deal with whatever and we'll give you a script and you'll do the best you can.
He
and
does
And if you screw up, we'll get rid of you tomorrow. But if you don't screw up and you play your role right, if you sell it, even how angry you are.
Right.
And we need independence here at the Fed. I mean, has the Fed ever been independent?
No.
Has it never not worked for someone's interests that are not probably ours?
Right.
So I just think it's an act. I mean,
it's an act. It's an act, but who is he acting for? I think is what
and
we
I don't think it's against necessarily 100%. Whatever Trump's doing. I think that they need a fight to affect change. They need a problem to offer their solution.
I think that's part of it.
So
And
Trump's like, look, we need you to bark back. We want to affect change here. We want to show that the Federal Reserve doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. That's a hard
and the way
thing
we're
to
gonna
disagree with.
The Federal Reserve is ruining your home price, your savings. It's the fall guy.
I mean,
it doesn't mean you're getting something better though. It doesn't mean that you're
right. So we're gonna end the Fed and then we're gonna implement this. So we're all Whitney Webb.
No, I think that there's I think Bitcoin provides an opportunity, Bitcoin in self-custody.
Yes.
In the digital world, at least, to take yourself out of that problem. But that doesn't change where your feet land. And you're still in the physical world. And you still might live in America and pay draconian taxes.
I mean, look, this is an argument I get in a lot on Twitter is like, yes, we still live in this country and we have to follow the laws. So like in my opinion, it is a battle worth fighting. Like,
what we've seen with Keone Rodriguez, not all laws are lawful.
Correct.
So, and we live in a time where, we see crony capitalism and the law seems to work for people who do have power. And I'm talking about more power than 99.9% of the people in this world or this country know.
Right. The right kind of power with the right kind of people.
Yeah. So, but this BlackRock clip, I think we are still in tremendously early days for Bitcoin. How many people in the world do you think use Bitcoin? And when I say use Bitcoin,
use it.
Like not just bought $100 or bought $1,000.
Right.
And it doesn't matter the price, but I mean, use in the sense that they think of it as a savings plan, where they think of it as a store of value, where they think of it as something ongoing in their life.
Right.
And I'm going to put that number at 1% or less.
I would agree with that.
And if you even include people who have up to like $100,000 in Bitcoin, I'd still put that probably at 1% or less.
Mm-hmm.
So, 10% more people come.
We're going to 10x.
It's not linear like that, but you know what I mean? And
right.
so
But imagine, and institutions, we cross the chasm in terms of institutional adoption, but I don't think that the institutions have truly arrived. They haven't really brought their money. Though ETFs gave them like the sort of okay to start looking at it, and they're looking, they're watching, and when they come with their money, that's I think when we go parabolic.
But I also think part of this Trump administration, I think, has been the centralization of Bitcoin, and I think the attempted co-option.
Yes,
which I think is happening. The attempt.
It is happening.
But just sort of the centralizing the custody of Bitcoin.
It's not just the custody.
And building the rules and
the implementation of the fiat rules and regulations, primarily stemming from the Bank Secrecy Act, onto the Bitcoin network and all the Bitcoin companies and the ecosystem.
Right. And so people can always somehow figure out how to use the Bitcoin network to circumvent all those rules. But most of humanity, I think, is going to get ensnarled.
Right. Agreed.
And that's where I think the window's closing what Bitcoin can do for humanity. But it seems like they're building the walled garden. They're encouraging people not to custody. Things like the Keone Rodriguez and the Samurai Wallet case, I think, sets a very chilling effect on developers, development, innovation, especially around privacy.
No doubt.
And self-custody. It seems like all the efforts in Bitcoin are primarily around, or the development efforts and energy and talent is around the tokenization of real world assets, putting the dollar on Lightning or Liquid,
Right.
and not so much about the, so.
There's no doubt that that's true.
But I do think we're
I've
so
watched that
freaking
happen.
early.
We're still early, and there will always be opportunities, of course, for us to build tools and transact outside that system. And but I do agree with you that is the door that's closing. And the more people that we can get to understand that and to fight on this side of the fight, the better. If you're just buying your KYC Bitcoin or you're holding your ETF or whatever, I mean, that's not using
It's a weird thing.
Bitcoin.
It still comes down to number go up, though. I mean, that's what brings the most people in, whether they come for the right reasons, whether they stay. And I think the more, I think that there are more gains ahead of us, but what prevents a lot of people is it feels like there probably aren't. And they feel like Bitcoin at best is a 10x from here, maybe somebody who's like a normie.
Right.
They're like, oh, wow, if everything went right, maybe Bitcoin's a 10x. And I think they think that like AI is still 100x.
Yeah.
And I think it's
a lot of people want to gamble. And so they think they're too late to Bitcoin. And so they're still doing crypto things or they're in AI.
Right. So I think that your point is true. They want to gamble, and Bitcoin doesn't feel like a gamble enough in the way. And I still think it'll has 1,000x to go.
But it's not really a gamble anymore,
Right.
I mean, I don't think
but it's
so
also, I think, less cool to normies. Like they feel less rogue, I think.
Right.
When they buy a Bitcoin.
This is just an allocation now. It's not,
right. It doesn't feel revolutionary.
Right.
And I think still we're at the beginning of the revolution. It's still to come, but it'll be interesting to see as price goes up and then the forces try to centralize how much of that revolution continues to take hold and the fight for freedom. This is interesting news from Rumble here.
Yeah. So Rumble just built a Bitcoin wallet. It's a non-custodial Bitcoin app, and so they have 68 million users on Rumble.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, and what I find most interesting about this is the tip part of it, or the interaction as the creator. But they're saying that this is going to compete with Coinbase and Venmo.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So I have to, of course, plug the Byte Federal wallet. We have actually two wallets. We have a fully non-custodial wallet that you can use to hold your own keys and hold your Bitcoin in self-custody. And we have a new digital on-ramp, which is the Byte wallet for users, whether they're coming from the ATM or they're new to the ecosystem. I know there's a lot of wallets out there, but we wanted to build something that was really, really easy to use. And I think that we've achieved that. So we've got Byte Vault, which is the non-custodial wallet, and Byte Wallet, which is our custodial digital on-ramp. And the tipping thing is super interesting. I will say we had a tipping product in beta right before Choke Point 2.0 came in and shut all this cool stuff down. And so I'm interested to see. I'm not sure exactly how they're managing this. Is it on Lightning? Do you know?
I don't know if it's on Lightning. I hope so. I got to dig into it more. I find it very exciting because I think there's more freedom of speech on Rumble.
Yes, I agree.
And if I think integrating with Bitcoin is obviously exciting for Bitcoin reasons, but I think it brings, as a Bitcoiner and a content creator, but I think for the audience of Rumble who might not be Bitcoiners, that's going to be very interesting, and see how they interact with it, and whether then that's a sneak attack on Coinbase and Venmo, because people are like, hey, I want to tip my favorite creator, so I got to buy this Bitcoin. Where do I buy it? I buy it in maybe this app that I want to use to tip. And then if you have enough liquidity and enough users, you can kind of point them and direct them and able to do lots of different things. So I think it's great. I mean, we talk about how Bitcoin doesn't have a marketing department. And so to see some of these big brands and companies like Rumble coming in and supporting the ecosystem, it sort of serves as marketing for Bitcoin, and it gives access to 68 million people, which I think is fabulous. So to a couple other things, though. So is Rumble just sort of an incremental improvement on YouTube? And then the end game is still something like Nostr or something in sort of that world where it's still more peer-to-peer and much more ownership of the content. still.
You know, this is kind of a doomer take, but I just think not enough people care. Yeah, like that the ability for people to use, I think it's a fantastic to have those tools for the people that want to use them. But the same way that we see 95% of people using Gmail, you know, we're going to see 95% of people using centralized services because just not enough
They're
people.
more organized and curated and just they work better for data management and sort of, I guess, streaming and putting things out quickly. Yeah, we'll see. So then that way, then Rumble can be so much better than YouTube.
Absolutely. I mean, it's still a fantastic company run by people that care about freedom. So the more of those companies that we have, you know, the better, right?
I got to ask you then, what do you think of Dan Bongino? I mean, that's another one. So it's like,
I will tell you, he was threatened. There's not a shadow of doubt in my head. I mean, look, you know.
So, okay, if you're Dan Bongino and you're a top performing podcaster.
Yeah.
And his role, I guess, before that was Secret Service.
I think he was in the Secret Service.
Which still doesn't, for me, did he have a law background before Secret Service? Not that you have to be, I mean,
I'm not sure.
I don't know how being like, sort of like, just because you're, in my opinion, like you patrol a neighborhood doesn't mean you should be like head of all cops.
Sure.
Right? Like
what qualified
linear.
him to be in that role? That I don't know.
But what qualified him in terms of the public perception was like you were going to do certain things in this role that you hammered on before as a content creator, that you staked your career on and brought you a lot of visibility and support.
Right.
And was he so naive that he thought he was going to go in, not be threatened, and achieve things, and then got threatened there?
Yes.
And has this never happened to anyone who then comes out and says, you know what, like handles it a little differently than he did, though, because he's
flubbed the whole thing. But that was, in my opinion, probably part of, I think. You're familiar with General Flynn and like the
I'm not terribly familiar because you have to go down this. At a certain point, you start to say, I don't want to go down this more political rabbit holes.
Right.
And I'm not, and you pick and choose where you're going to spend your time and energy.
Well, the reason I ask about Flynn is because he is one of the very few who was threatened and came out publicly and discussed it. He made a documentary. And so I think it's a really good example. Like it's kind of my go-to example, but you know, I don't say this just out of like craziness. I mean, I lived in DC for more than a decade. I worked for companies, you know, that had contracts. At one point, I had clearance for a job that I had with a startup. I mean, I'm intimately familiar with how DC works. And I promise you, they are threatening people all day, every day.
I get that. But I feel like you have to sort of, I mean, I would think the deal is like accept or go home.
So
and I would probably demur. I would just be like, look, I can't say certain things. So it's like, I'm not going to get my situation where I then have to then backtrack it. I don't want to have to do that.
I mean, I think
like, I'm just going to like, you know what? Like if you can't, and if you can't win, then the money's not worth it to me.
Well, I don't think there was money involved.
There was a reason he accepted the job at the FBI. He could have just said like, look, they want to make me in the FBI. And like, I'm just killing it as a podcaster.
No, he was making so much money. Which
he gave up money, but so he did it for something.
I think he was genuinely
thought he was going to affect change.
Correct. I think that he genuinely believed that he could affect change
without being corrupted. Because like we just said, though, like they don't like they'll threaten you.
Absolutely, they'll threaten your children. I would be like, his wife was in a car accident.
Yeah. Well, that's also you don't know if that's true.
No,
we don't know if that's
what is true. No,
like,
you don't.
Like that could be a story too.
We
that was
know.
Something that came to my mind though. Like,
right?
I don't. They say, oh, well, that means that's evidence that he got threatened.
Well,
but we don't know if that was true. Maybe that's the fake decoy to make us all sound like.
But
idiots.
It wasn't headlined. Like if it was headlined, like you can't actually find it. I only found out about this because it was on. Somebody talked about it on a podcast. Like if you Google it, you can't even find it. And that's why, to me, that lends more credibility to the fact that it's a piece of that
moment
matters.
where him and Patel were like, we saw everything and it's all good. It was like,
fresh off
how do you
the
not
threat.
quit the next day if like...
because I think that
then they say, oh, you have to
cooperate, you have to step back, you have to support X, Y, and Z.
See, I think you have to be smart enough not to accept the FBI job. Like everything was good for him,
right?
Until
but then, but if no good person is willing to take that job and just
I think that is the signal. Like that enables
that no one will take the job. Because here's the thing, because there will always be people that will take the job. So then you get some crazy, you get a Waltz or some crazy leftist.
Isn't that sort of though the acceleration theory though? Is like it get worse.
Yeah, it is.
But instead of taking down then good people and not stopping it, if all the good people surround it, you know what I mean, and suck all the energy out of it.
But surround it how? Physically? Should we all go to DC? Or
no, you can't. No, you can't do it physically. You so remove you don't transact in their money.
Okay,
that's part of it.
But
and
FBI,
then you don't give them power.
You think he shouldn't have taken the job?
No way. If he truly believed what he was saying,
yes. So
then he has to take that job and live that to say that is the hill I'm going to die on.
I agree, and I
if
was
they
hopeful.
are threatening me, I'm going to come out and be like,
they threatened me.
You have to signal to your people that because otherwise it just wasn't worth anything.
I agree, but
there was no money in it. So
I don't think he had
no direct money.
I don't think he had any idea the extent that they were going to go to be honest.
That's naive to me. If you're the kind of person who's been commenting on things like Epstein for years and you're considered an authority
in
that vein, you worked at the Secret Service, or you're pretending you have inside, not just experiences, but understanding of how this thing works.
Right. But
because people have mysteriously died around the Clintons. I don't know if they did it or not. But if I knew they did it because I had inside actor, then I would know that could come back.
That was
to
a
me.
possibility. Correct.
And I would be like, okay, how much can I do without ruining my life?
Right.
How much can I say that I'm proud of without ruining my life? Oh, wait, they're going to offer me this thing and I got to give up all my, if you're in it for the money, you're giving up the current money you're making.
Yeah, I don't think he was in it for the money. He was making so much money.
But I'm saying, but then he goes in this and now he ruined all of that.
He did. We agree on that.
So you get no money and you ruin your reputation. That's worse than ruining the money.
I think he got in over his head. I don't think he had any idea the extent that it was going to happen.
I agree. So that point, he's not a very bright guy then maybe.
Maybe not, or
I don't know. So none of it adds up to me. He's not acting like a Secret Service person. He's acting like it felt like an entertainer took this job, then got in way over their head, and then could have went out much more gracefully, I guess.
I think he
fighting
had
with
two
people
options.
that
disappear quietly, like you said, or come out and be honest.
Don't try to take down other people.
No, the arc that he's on
or the people that who are mad at you because you didn't go do anything about the thing that you promised those people you were going to do.
Right. People are rightfully upset because you did nothing. You made all of these promises. You did nothing. And you also provided absolutely
don't fight with those people.
Oh, maybe. I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So I don't understand it.
I think that he is probably angry, to a point that you can't even imagine.
Yeah, I get that.
Imagine you go in, you
angry
think,
at himself, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, and the fact that he, was co-opted.
He honestly thought.
I really think that
what do you think of Kash Patel?
Same shit, just different.
And he's the head of the FBI?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, why would good people, to me, this is clown show. The people who were who doing their job as jesters and in a way pointing out how absurd the system is.
Right.
By saying it's so unjust, it's so immoral. In a way, I don't expect those people to necessarily be the most moral people. Their job is to cause a ruckus about how they could throw tomatoes. But then they're we're going to go in there and throw tomatoes.
I think that a lot of people, Bongino and Trump.
Patel's flying his girlfriend around the country.
That guy's a clown.
And he's the head of the FBI.
Yeah.
So how is that not demoralizing to anyone who's at the FBI for real?
Well, I think that
so why would anyone who's actually altruist, why would they go work for these? I'm saying they then, it doesn't make sense even if you try to hold their own story up. They're acting worse than the people they criticized in a way.
It's a shit show.
Okay, I don't know. All right, let's MSCI. We'll.
All right, so Cedric, I don't know anything about this.
Okay, this is. I mean, I don't. This is at a high level. There are these groups or associations that run how all these indexes and who qualifies and who doesn't for index funds.
Okay.
So MSCI, which I think is backing or affiliated with JP Morgan, was going to prevent or going to kick Bitcoin companies out, specifically like MSTR, from these index funds, which then eliminates a lot of passive flows. Not, I mean, I didn't actually get into this this piece, but
generally.
But so then there was sort of a large campaign from Strategy and their supporters, like to make the case that these are actual companies, legitimate securities with business models, and that they shouldn't be eliminated from these index funds. I really think that this was, I think we're going through this like dance where they might have even debanked the Trump family.
Yeah.
But the Trump family's made $10 billion in the last year in the crypto space, probably. Maybe $5 billion, maybe $1 billion.
Yeah.
So like jumping on sort of like the crypto bandwagon has been very beneficial to them. And I think it's to usher, like right now, I think JP Morgan is trying to buy these assets cheap. I think Wall Street's trying to talk people out of their
So you
bags.
think they were trying to run price down so they could accumulate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it was just a scare.
Right.
And
sure.
even if it went through, that's part of the scare. Like you
Right.
can make the scarier. It's like, let's go further.
And
but it's to shake the tree. It's to
Right.
shake out conviction. It's to cause confusion for normies. To more doubt towards normies. Which I can only think of the people in my last neighborhood, like just a dad who's like 45 years old. He's just bought a new house. He's got a huge mortgage now. It's 6% instead of 3.5%.
Yeah.
He doesn't understand Bitcoin. He's seen it's gone from 15,000 to 70, back down to 30, up to 100, back under 30, back down to 80. He gets that the government, maybe he's a lefty.
Mm-hmm.
He's thinking, just maybe he's in the middle, but like a lot of the stuff he hears is left leaning about Bitcoin's bad, crypto's
Sure.
bad. And some of that is true, maybe for different reasons than the left believe. I do think crypto is leading to CBDCs.
Yeah.
And surveillance. And I think there's a lot of corruption in all parties. So when people say there's, people could say, and they say, oh, maybe Bitcoin's cool or good for me and it's going to appreciate. But then this Trump guy who I might not like did this meme coin and Melania did it.
Right.
And it's very confusing. And I think all that's done on purpose.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you told me a year ago that somehow the forces to be would keep Bitcoin under 100K 12 months later,
Yeah.
I would be like, that just seems really fucking hard to do.
And here we are.
And here we are. And the whole time there was just so much good news every day last year. Every day it'd be like, this bank's going to let you buy Bitcoin. This mutual fund's buying 2% every single day.
Wells Fargo just bought like almost $400 million in Bitcoin. It was just like a passing.
And I get that OGs were looking for liquidity they never had in cycles past.
Yeah.
And I think the 4-year cycle didn't ever exist. That's why I don't think it's dead. I think it was.
I love the 4-year cycle, Cedric.
I don't think it's real.
So
I
the
think it's
4-year
a coincidence.
cycle.
I think cycles.
Have you ever seen the Fibonacci sequence? Like
Sure.
mapped out. So the 4-year cycle, we had the halving in April of 2024. And if the 4-year cycle had existed and stayed on track, we would have expected a new all-time high 12 to 18 months later. It happened. It might have not been like this parabolic.
That doesn't mean that it's a
300.
law.
No, I don't think it's a law.
I think the Fibonacci thing is so like, I don't think life is circular, but it's sort of like a cylinder.
Yeah.
Right. And so a spiral. So it's circular, but you keep going through new time.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. But that doesn't mean that each new sort of spiral is exactly the same as the past one. It might.
No, I think they are all different, but I think there is this like rhythm to it. And I think that, every 4 years we see a new all-time high, we see a drawdown, we see.
But that could also be sort of human. Every 4 years we see governments go through, liquidity cycles and the business cycle. Maybe that's artificially produced because of money printing. Maybe there's some human element to cyclical nature of life, but I don't think there's any law that Bitcoin has to go up for 3 years and down for a year, and
I don't.
Or down for 3 years and up for a year because of the halving emissions rate. I don't think that's meaningful anymore. How much is being mined, and that's like 700 coins a day.
Right.
When we're seeing thousands and tens of thousands of coins traded per day, back and forth. Some of this is just wash trading.
I think it is significantly less meaningful, and that there was always going to be like a dampening of the pattern. But I've always liked the 4-year cycle. I don't look at it as a law. I don't think any of those, it's not laws and charts. I just think it's a pattern and a way to understand that piece of it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, there's been a pattern.
Yeah.
And so you should reckon with it. But it's only a few, we're talking about 3 halvings.
Sure. Fair enough. It's not a large data set.
It's a terribly small data set. There's so much correlation that we might not, that might not be causation.
All right, we might be at the end of the 4-year cycle. I will let it go, but I've always liked it.
It's never existed. All right, let's move on to Minnesota here.
Oh, boy. All right, well, there's a lot happening in Minnesota.
It's a lot happening in the world.
There's a lot happening everywhere. You know what's happening in New York is the mayor came out with his own coin. Did you see that?
What a scumbag.
Seriously. And then
he was in Bitcoin Vegas last year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he had like 6 dudes walking around because I saw him in the what's the room called?
The Whale Lounge?
And I was like, maybe only because I'm from New York, I don't necessarily like his policies. Sometimes he says things I agree with. A lot of times he says things I really don't like.
Sure.
But I was like, that dude's from my home city.
Right.
I'm from the suburbs of New York. I want to meet him. And then he had like 6 dudes around him. And I was like, I don't know.
Did you get to meet him?
No, I didn't want to go over him because it looked like he was with like a posse, it felt like. And I was like, I don't want to deal with again, I was like, would I take this? Do I want to go up to someone who needs 6 people around them who may be packing weapons?
Sure.
In a zone where weapons aren't allowed for the common folk. So I was like, I don't know. Like that was to me not a reason not to go up to somebody.
Right. Well, he was inspired.
Didn't seem like the man of the people.
No. He was inspired. They taught him how to do crypto shit, and he rug pulled. He pulled $2.5 million of liquidity.
That number seems to be going up. Now we don't know if that's true. Like also like you don't know if someone like him sold the rights to someone else to do that.
That's
so like maybe said, give me $100K. I don't know if you're going to make money on that. You take on all the risk, and that guy makes $3 million.
I'll give you that.
But you're selling your name, and it's gonna, if it goes well, you're going to look bad.
Yeah. I will give you that.
But if
but he is in the streets, like holding a sign, talking about it.
I heard that he's worth like $2.5 million before this.
Okay.
And it looked like he pulled out $2 to $4 million from this. So the incentives are so high.
Right.
Like they say that it's not good or bad people. It's like if you put anyone in a situation where the barriers to getting caught are extremely low.
Right.
And the booty is extremely high, like what you can get away with the cachet. Right. Like most people are going to do it.
I talk about this a lot in terms of corruption.
And I think he's in that situation. I think most politicians are, but it was disgusting.
Yeah.
And but I think they also feel like in a way they get away with it because only crypto people including Bitcoiners, who follow that kind of news. And the people who already hate Bitcoin or crypto do anyway. It just gives them more evidence. They don't care. It just goes up. So,
and even a lot of the crypto people are like, "Oh, yay, New York coin," because they're trading on it or some shit. So
what I'll say about Minnesota, it seems like another event, like to me, like Kyle Rittenhouse or George Floyd, that is incredibly divisive. That feels incredibly obvious to if you already have a sort of a team that you're rooting for, it's being exploited by those teams on both sides at the same time, and they both need these events.
The division.
Yes, created. I think it's a fake fight. It's kayfabe. They want you to fight over this. They're working together. They both get more resources the bigger the fight gets. Real lives get hurt, though.
Right.
And families get destroyed on both sides. But this speaks to, part of the reason this topic was raised was around sovereignty. So you try to, you put Bitcoin in self-custody. It doesn't prevent you from being caught up in something like this
in the real world.
Yeah, in the physical world.
Right.
And I think it also looks at Venezuela, like Venezuela was like a quote unquote sovereign nation.
Right.
Greenland, I don't know how much sovereignty Greenland has. The more I look at this, it doesn't seem like they're sovereign.
No, it
but
doesn't.
Venezuela, but what is sovereignty when you don't have the guns?
Right.
And they can take your resources that are not Bitcoin. That's why I think this was incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. Maybe not for Venezuela's Bitcoin in terms of like maybe it'll be unjustly taken from the people of Venezuela. It looks like they were using Tether to evade sanctions.
Yeah, so these like $130-something million was just frozen on Tether in Venezuelan wallets.
So again, and Tether is working with Rumble on their wallet. So just
they are
put that thought bubble in your head. And Tether, as a Bitcoiner, I'm like, oh wow, it's really cool. I do think that stable coins in and of themselves, I don't think are inherently bad or good. It's like a hammer. And I think they provide a lot of good to certain people who are dealing with currencies that are inflating worse than the dollar. And so it's a lesser of two evils maybe to get on a dollar-backed stable coin. And I don't think they're stable. We get the joke there. They're going down. They're programmed to go down in price. They bring worse things in some ways. But it's weird, this harmonious relationship between Bitcoin and Tether. A lot of OG Bitcoiners love Tether.
Yeah.
And support Tether. And Tether does some really cool things, but I got my eye on them. I don't know. And they're very involved in El Salvador as well. So, all right. I don't know if you have anything more to say on Minnesota or Greenland there.
No, it's sad. I will say it's sad. It's sad.
Is everything sad then? Because it's like, maybe, I try to think about like if I went into the street and I saw one guy kill another guy, and it was quickly explained to me that this guy killed that guy's wife, so he's killing him in retribution.
Right.
And I should take teams. And I'm like, no, just because a bad thing happened in one person, like I saw this part, I don't know what preceded that.
Sure.
And then what preceded that, and what preceded that. And for me to get involved is not beneficial probably to anything going on in my life. And
so we shouldn't.
Well, it's like we create a story. We hear pieces of information, and then we give these things power. I think we should try to remain as objective, as empathetic as possible. I think these things are getting distorted. I think there's a lot of propaganda. We don't know what's real.
Sure. I mean, I definitely
we should focus on like the 5 or 10 miles around us.
We should have chickens.
I don't think we were built. Yeah, I'm getting chickens. Michelle was talking to my wife before the show, and we're gonna get chickens, but we just got a puppy.
Cedric's gonna get chickens after the puppy gets raised. I'm
gonna give up the studio here and turn this thing into a chicken coop, and we'll shut the show down. So
no, the show will go on. You'll just have like a little bok coming through.
Sounds good. All right, I think we should roll out here. Another awesome episode. Please hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying the show. This is brought to you by Byte Federal. Go bank yourself. Check out their Bitcoin ATMs, the Bitcoin wallet, and the point of sale.
That's right.
Michelle, you'll be back next week.
So I will be here, guys, next week again.
Tune in every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern for your favorite show. Tune in for the laughs, jokes, and debate. Francis will roll out when you're ready.